Shalom, 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 everybody. This is Ivan, the Trinity of Water, with another very serious preparation for a purpose television show, part two. My apologies. I really need to clean this phone up, but I do need to move along. I'm not sure exactly where I left off, but I know it was about the wealth of the wicked. And this correlates to, oh, and I was talking about, I was saying like the powers that be, whatever you want to call it. I, for one, I was a little too in my flesh, and I was against something, and I could tell by how my words and my verbiage was coming out that it wasn't the way that message was designed. So I'm redoing it. That, as I was saying earlier, water can be as gentle. I'm the Trinity of water. Water can be as gentle as it can wipe a baby's bottom. And water could be so thunderous where it could take down countries, but it's still water. To be innocent as a dove, mighty as a lion, comes in many forms. Now, why am I bringing this up? What does that have to do with the wealth of the wicked? It has to do with it because you were given something in the Bible about the rich man who really had a heart and really wanted to do the right thing. And Jesus said, give up all your money, give it up, give it to the poor, and then you can follow me. That correlates to the wealth of the wicked. So a lot of people they're not going to get this. Like I say, my show isn't to appease or, some shows a lot of people may be able to relate to. Some shows are for the chosen. This show is for a specific group of people who have a very strategic knowledge, mindset, and consciousness that really probably never thought this day would come, but I'm going to catch their eye at some point. So I'm going to let them first know this isn't a coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidences, but I'm going to share this, and however it's received, like I say, it isn't up to me. But it's the children of the powers that be, the wicked, whatever you want to call it. Of, they say, the wealth of the wicked. It's the children that it's something missing, and it's being delivered to them. And it's for them to save their bloodline. They still can follow Christ, but they have to give up their wealth to the poor. It's a transference of energy. The big G always gives you a chance. It's always going to show you without a shadow of a doubt, not only am I real, but I'm going to deliver things to you. And if you ignore it for so long, you can't say you weren't warned. So you can also follow, meaning do the things of Yeshua, do the things and walk in your purpose. But you are a giver. And the curse, it was a curse that was put on the melanated people that was delivered to me, but it wasn't really in depth. But this curse is going to be broken, and we have to learn how to receive again, because we're not good receivers of this energy. But what we are a very forgiving people. And see, I don't look at, if you listen to my messages, I'm not with the whole color thing, black, white. I'm not with that. However, again, I was wrong. See, when you're in right standing, all things must be go back to its appropriate persona on all dimensions for this to be right. And we can prolong it. We can do as other generations, and it all ended the same way because they just couldn't find the unconditional love to say, I don't need, let's call it the spiritual government. Just like we have a government, it's a spiritual government. I don't need them to step in. They always give us an opportunity to handle it ourselves, but we never chose unconditional love. Meaning, this stuff not ours anyway. So it's a transference of energy. The curse will be broken from the melanated individual, and we will take back our land, take back our mind, ourselves, and certain things. It correlates to nature. Therefore, it has to be us. I didn't know that, but that's on a lower level. That's on a lower level. But just like the chakra system, you have to have the grounding. You have to go step by step by step. So that does have to take place. It has to take place for order. That's got order, focused it, order, God of order. So it really is as simple as giving it back to the poor, transference of energy. But it isn't just giving the money, because you understand money is a mindset that you will get it back just as easy as you gave it, that you're transferring your knowledge and the keys that was given to you. It's going to be a transference. You're going to learn how to give. Therefore, you're going to learn how to also become in your purpose, in those things that your fathers and your grandfathers, they could not see. They were too fixated. You break those chains. You are also chosen ones. You break those chains, and then you can begin to walk in your purpose. In the melanated individual, it's going to take time. Also, our children, this is about the children. They will learn how to become good receivers. They will learn how to walk in royalty, in confidence, because we had an opportunity and the curse was put on us because we did things. We were in rulership, but we did things we weren't supposed to do. But the chance is now being given for us to be the example, to lead in a way that shows complete royalty, respect, love. That's what we didn't do. That we are the people that will lead first and foremost, always with the big G. That's what we forget. We forgot what unconditional love was, and became to be fixated on other things. Therefore, creative creatures, let's call it, was able to deceive us. But now we have an opportunity not to come in hate. How can you solve a problem with the same, get a solution with the same, using the same thing that caused the problem? Hate, hate. When unconditional love right there. And if people choose not to walk in it, like I said, just like water, you can prolong it, but it's going to happen. But we have the opportunity to handle it ourselves. We have the opportunity to, for the ones that are in the know, to begin to speak out, knowing that the truth is will be hidden in our verbiage, in our words, and the people who are meant to capture it, they'll capture it. Our only job is to do what we were sent here to do, the transferring of that energy. So, yeah, I know it wouldn't be easy, right? Well, why would you give somebody something that they didn't earn? You earn it by paying attention. For the poor is the kingdom, because you might be poor monetarily, you might be a bad receiver, but the key of unconditional love is laying dormant in you, and you were predestined and chosen before you were even in your mother's womb. This was already predestined. And when you partake in that, you realize, just like Solomon said in Ecclesiastes, the vanity of all vanities, that all the money, the things in the world, why doesn't it bring you happiness? That's not what brings you happiness. That's a form of freedom, but you still will be blocked here because it's by design. You have to figure out there that, yeah, oh, what am I here to do? You have to love something more than you love yourself. And it was too much for the rich man to say, to just give it up, even though he had a heart and wanted to do the right thing. Because the programming of doing such a thing just didn't, it just was too strong. It was too strong. But you're not living, no matter how much you think you might know how the keys, it says your fine garments and robes, not knowing that you're poor and ratchet and wicked and blind. But you think you see and you don't. But your kids, they can see. You need to listen to them, because they're going to be the ones that's going to deliver you guys. And it's going to be a transference of energy that's going to balance things out on this dimension. And curses will be broken, lineages will be saved. A balance happens. It's going to be a balance. And we won't make the mistake that our ancestors made when they were fixated on just trying to be great. And anyone who was bold enough to discover the giftedness inside of them, and they say, well, I can be great too. But they were blind to what true greatness is. And they were given over, their mind was given over to the creature instead of the true living creator, because they were fixated on something and they weren't able to remember. And when you remember what I said, you were a member of something, but you don't remember it. It was, so that's it's something that already happened. You forgot about it. It's in your lineage. You're truly here to heal it. But it's so much that's blinding you from it. I'm here to give you, to waken up certain things in you, but only the big G can give you the remembrance, because it's a time stamp on that you can prolong. You can prolong it. But like I said, it's going to happen. Um, and it's not going to be easy for either party, because what you will discover is learning and feeling worthy of receiving after so much programming and so much of your cells of the Willie Lynch syndrome being installed in you. It's not going to be easy for either party. That's why it has to be done in unconditional love, where we notice we talking about slavery and be ownership of things. Well, we don't own none of this. We releasing it all, and that's what both parties have to do. Just release it. Just release it. And what's going to happen? It's going to be like a weight has been lifted. What's going to happen is the spiritual government, which some people don't think exists. That might not be the exact name of it, but you best believe it exists, and it's watching us. It's watching us, and we have the free will to just give it. Just say, you know what? I'm just going to choose purpose. I'm going to choose unconditional love. This guy with his hood on, in his basement or whatever. Maybe this guy already know what he talking about. I do, but you need to know what you're talking about. This is your individual journey, and it doesn't matter what color, creed, whatever you came from. You have a job to do, and our ancestors were a little too. They gave us some great things. They did, you know what? Some of they did the best they can do. So we have to forgive them. But we're the ones who have to be the examples for our children, because those are the ones that's gonna make this happen. That's why Christ was always depicted hanging with the children. We love our children. We have to love unconditionally. For God so loved the world, God sent his only son, knowing he was going to be crucified, beat. And you know what? Don't matter whether you think that's a story, a fairy tale, whatever it is, I guarantee if you are a chosen one, I guarantee if you tapped into a little bit of your purpose, I guarantee you lived some of it. And you know the significance of a lot of those stories, whether you're saying is it historical facts, is it stories, is it parables, is it this, is it that? It was placed there for a reason. And the stronger your faith, the more the big G will reveal to you. And it doesn't have to be a book, it could be through anything, anywhere, anyone. Even you, great one, even you watching this, even you. Out of all you done did, out of all the sin, all the failure, all the lack, the poverty, the whatever, even you who out of all the witchcraft, out of all of the sacrifice, out of all of the whatever you did, like Judas was there to fulfill something, and he let something infiltrate his mind, and once it happened, he was so ashamed that he killed himself. Some of you watching might be so ashamed of things that might get revealed that you just can't take the shame. And what I'm trying to explain to you is you were strategically put there to do that, but you have an opportunity to put that shame, get out of shame, and make it right. That's what men do. It's not about ruling something. It's not about ownership of something. It's not about belittling something. It's not about showing your authority over something. We don't own any of this. It's about tapping into something. No matter what you did, you can come back. I thought that was the most cliche thing in the world, but it's so true. It's so true. And you can make things right. And just how God reveals things to me, things that must take place, just like in Revelation, the things that must take place, the things that sounds outside of the box, you have no problem doing because you have a relationship. That's what God wants. That's what was lost. That's why the curse was put upon us. We forget what was the head, the true cornerstone. We forgot. And it's up to us to remember, which changes literally, scientifically, biologically changes the structure of the cells in the body. This is epigenetics, Bruce Lipton, baby. And it changes it for our bloodlines. In the timelines that was going to destruction, that was going to hell. It's all past, present, future. It's all happening at the same time. Now I don't want to get too advanced because you know I don't my audience are might be a little different, but that might be elementary to some. That might be something some never heard before. But the past, present, future is all happening at the same time. Let me make that make sense. When you make the right choices, when you learn from your mistakes of the past, what does it do? It changes your future because you change your present. So we have the now. So it doesn't matter what you did. It already happened. You're just changing timelines. So now when we put the right people, the right places and things in the right organization, which will be given to us on this dimension, what happens is the fourth and fifth dimensions begins to be revealed to those who are paying attention to their selves, their cells, their body, their purpose, their God. And what happens is we begin to unravel the mysteries and we begin to get in right standing with the spiritual government that therefore says, you know what, it's no need to govern you and step in because you chose what most won't, what wasn't easy, wasn't destination addiction, wasn't settling. And I'm gonna give you the biggest key. You're never going to truly be happy. For one, happiness is a man-made construct. You have joy, you can have joy. Happiness is but for a moment. Things are that's just for moments, that is illusions. But if you want joy, if you want peace that passes understanding, if you want the characteristics of the big G, you get the character of it. And that puts you, that makes you truly supernatural. That changes your DNA chemistry. Ain't no money that can buy that. No money, no price tag that can buy that. But like I say, you know how hard it is to say all this, I'm giving it away to the chosen people to help rebuild their land and put them back to the right standing, to give them what's necessary for them to begin to remember who they are, to reveal certain mysteries that you might know, that in hearing it from you, certain people, so your sheep hears your voice, that they're going to begin to awaken to who they are. But giving it away, that ain't easy. It's simple but not easy. To begin to say, I have never had really nothing in my life. I had to work for every, like 10 times harder for everything. I sometimes 2 jobs, 3 jobs, telling me I was nothing. They're just, I've never in my life thought I could really truly believe that I could be a chosen person in someone who is truly royalty and to truly believe that, that's not easy. To receive, because we taught we have to work so hard for everything, we don't know how to receive. To learn how to become a receiver, and the ones who are helping you to do that, an unconditional love, putting their children and their lineage above their own wants and needs. When you are able to get there, I dare you, how dare you ever take advantage of it? Not just because our ancestors, God bless them, couldn't handle it and they forgot the head, the cornerstone, the big G, because of their own fleshly wants, but because we're given a second chance of rulership, breaking the curse. Dare you ever take advantage of that? You show what a true leader is. A true leader builds up other leaders, empowers people. They're examples. They're shining lights. They're able to forgive. And just like I said, they're like water. They can be as gentle and as loving, but if necessary, can come like a flood, to be able to come together in humbleness, in meekness, in the qualities that make up the God, the true living God that is coming. That's the flood. So the thing that a lot of people are scared of or thinking this gonna be some bad thing, well, it depends on what your mindset is. The people that are trying to prolong this, join us. Join us. This little third dimensional is great, but I'm saying this little third dimensional thing, let's make this happen so we can move from glory to glory to glory. Once you give up this mess that's not even ours anyway, once you begin relationship with my God, my source, mysteries, you start getting out of the flesh. You start moving on to things and dormant things that lay dormant in you. Like I said, the epigenetics. You healing bloodlines. You're coming together. This is something that most could not do. I'm sorry, all couldn't do. This is something that most think can't happen. But it doesn't matter what they think. When enough of us have true vision, no more telling us our visions. Tell our vision. You're not telling us our vision. The only thing that's going to be telling us our vision is the God that most of us forgot. And it's coming through to say, I'm here. I'm going to start in small drips with my chosen ones. I'm going to have them to deliver messages that you will see. I'm going to give you a chance to give it back. Embrace all the karma that you don't, the unseen karma, whether you feel these things exist or not, whether you feel certain things and certain sacrifices and certain things you do can break it. All you're doing is, it's like a drug. And I know about that. It's only lasts a moment. It ain't real. all those things, Hollywood, all those things. Don't you know we need to pray for those people? We need to pray for any victims that was harmed. We need to not just look at the gossip and, oh, I knew they were this, I knew they were that. That's not unconditional love. We need to learn from it. And we need to learn. That's why you never be a respecter of flesh, a respecter of man. And you don't know where the true living God is going to work through, come from, or whatever. You just know to be prepared. Because I'm telling you, the flood is coming. It's coming. But when you're prepared for it, it's beautiful. Could you imagine that flood coming and we all learn? Come on now, my people that's in masonry, high level masonries, you know how to build that ark in your body, how to tap into certain things. And whether you did it the back door, the front door, however you might have did it, we can teach you some things that you can also just do it in unconditional love and boldness. But you know it exists, right? And you begin to share what you know. And what happens is you begin to it's a collaboration of life, that the illusions and all that death and all those things that are just simply illusions, they fade away. So just as as the Bible said, just as it predestined, you think your fancy garments are this, not knowing you ratchet and you're poor. Just like the ones who, oh, you said you did this in my name, you did that in my name. I don't even know you. But you know what? First, it starts with truth. Those miracles that happened are very much possible. Will very much be seen. And it starts with doing a self-examination of, do I have the right one? It's just simply just going to church every Sunday, never learning about myself, my endocrine system, how this all works, giving thanks for breath and how it's so miraculous what God has done for me. The things I can't see, could that be the true thing I need to be looking at? Have I been blinded? And self-examine yourself and meet the real. The ones that think they run this world, the ones that have correlation with the prince of the air, that's fixated, that can't see. That's why he's blind, the blind God, Samael. He's blind because he can't see, because if you can't be in unconditional love, you cannot live. So all you have is the illusion. So I'm going to tell y'all something. That's why you feel that feeling like when that illusion and delusion is just not enough. And you know it's something realer, but you just don't know how to get there. That's because you want it to look a certain way. You want it to have a certain thing. You want it to be this big on this big stage. You don't want it coming from a $20 cell phone from a guy down a basement from Detroit. How can anything great come from Detroit? Just like they said, where you come from? Where did they say Jesus came from? And no, I'm not comparing or saying I am, but I'm saying it's in me. Oh, it's definitely in me. Saying no matter where you're from or what you have, was already predestined. It said, I will come through the meek, through the poor. I will, that's where I'm coming from. Because God knew, even though it was predestined, it was written that everybody was going to be looking to the rich. So yeah, if TD Jakes did all this and all those illusions, those are just signs saying you worshiped. No, no, not that you respected this man. A lot of people, you worship this. And look what they were doing because you are a respecter of flesh. That's why I don't respect flesh. Learn the lessons from it. And if TD Jakes hears this, don't you be ashamed. As hard as that might be, that was something you needed to do. The world stage that they learned a lesson from you. Now repent, truly repent. It's a changing of your mind. Turn it around. Humble yourself. Give away what you have to the poor and follow the truth. It's the problem, y'all. We judging too much. We looking, oh, I knew he did this. I knew that. It's not enough unconditional love because we don't know it. We weren't taught it. It's not here in this world. It doesn't exist. You have to reach from a higher dimension. It doesn't exist here. For light came into the world, and it said, what it said, we received it, we perceived it not. That's why most can't hear chosen one's messages. The light is coming into this world through us, but you can't perceive it because you're stuck in an illusion, a delusion. That's the deluge. All you got to do is just remember. And when you remember, that's why when you're truly in the spirit, these things don't even matter. But it matters when you have bills to pay. It matters when you have children to feed. It matters because those are forms of karma as well. But all that is taken care of when you're in your purpose, unafraid of it. When you learn certain principles, there's principles on this dimension that at the beginning, who I was speaking to, they know these principles very well, was brought up in these principles. And as the ones who may listen, no timestamp, it might be their children's children. It's not going to be easy to teach that to a people who has been suppressed and programmed for so long. But you remember, you're not teaching them their conscious, you're teaching their subconscious. You're doing just what you can do. When they receive it, it's not up to you. Your job is to give it away. And you're going to notice that was your hindrance. The ones who, they say, you know what, everybody is calling us evil. And I have this feeling in me that it's something more, but I can't tell my father, I can't tell my mother, I can't tell this family because they're wicked. Heck, they might kill me. They might disown me. They're going to think less of me. They might disown you. They might look down on you. They're probably going to tell you you're nuts. But it's no different than the other coin of that. We're the same. Because when we're walking out with nothing, our family is telling us, no, no, just go to college, get a good job, get a nice car, a nice wife, and shut up. What are you talking about? Go to church every Sunday, pay your tithes, you good. And we walking out with nothing. And they're calling us crazy. They're disowning us. They're walking away from us. And we have nothing but a word and a faith and a God that we can't see, but we know exists through us. And we got a job to do. We are the same. Two sides of the same coin. But we have to remember and consciously see that. And when you see that, the judgment stops. When you see, as you said, the people who is suppressing us are just like us. But we're blinded by division. We're blinded by family members. We're blinded by so much. In the bold, it's already predestined. It's only a certain amount that's going to be able to get this. But we're the examples. We come together to show people a better way. We come together to show, yes, people can change. Come together to say, we're going to do something. And the people watch, some of the people watch this, you know this is true, that all these generations that the spiritual government had to end because they just couldn't get it. That we will be the ones to break that cycle. Us. Little old us. And it's everything and it's nothing. All literally God. Like I said, nobody taught me this. So I have no one to glorify nor thank but the living God. For without that, I'm literally nothing. And when you truly discover that, the opinions, the sometimes the praise, whatever, it just doesn't mean as much. I look at some of the stars and I say, they all say the same thing. Like at first, like, wow, it makes them uncomfortable for people praising and worshiping them like that because you know what? They knew they weren't designed to be worshiped. Revelation, John the Revealer, he was worshiping something because he sees never seen it before. And this was something he never seen. And he said, careful not to do that. Careful not to do that. Don't worship me. Worship God, for I'm your fellow servant. Talking to people that's bold enough to know you're going to encounter things, entities that people can't see nor perceive, that can do things that might eventually blow your mind. And the first instinct is to worship them, but you won't worship them. You look at it and say, the things that they do, I shall also do. Because you're not doing it for show. You're not doing it for power. You're not doing it for praise. You're doing it for your purpose, your gift. You're doing it all to bring people back to remembrance as you remember more and more. We're the line of Melchizedek. The Prince of Righteousness is here. People will discover why you didn't hear much about Melchizedek, the humble Prince of of righteousness. Salam. Because my son, our children, that's what need to be talked about. So we raise them up. So as important as it is to discover who we are, to follow in our purpose, lineage, they're part of us, our kids, our children. That's the story. That's the story. That's the love story, y'all. We're preparing bride. This is a marriage that's going to take place. And we're preparing the children and we're grooming them to do what we couldn't, what we were unable to. But you know what? We did the best we could. Can you say that? When you say, but we did the best we could. That's all. That just like your father, your mother may have told you, all I want you to do is your best, son. Many times we may fall. That's all I hear. God told me all I want you to do is your best, and your best will be good enough. It's not about what we shall see. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Our energy is going to be here. But what would our energy, what is it going to mean? You know, it's things that can read your energy. Do you know when you discover certain things about yourself